What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and thank you so much for jumping into another video. My name is Josh, and I'm just your average Joe day trader. Well, it's Thursday, September 17th. I'm going to tell you, it has been a hot day. Okay, now, yes, I know. Most of you know I live in the state of Florida. I'm down here in South Florida, not far from Miami. Yes, it's hot down here, but it has nothing to do with the market. It's not what I'm talking about. Do you remember in the beginning of the month when we talked about how September, historically, September is the worst month of the year, the worst month, the down month, the month that everything is crashing. You're trying to hedge out, sell out, hold profits, put money to the side, back to powder, waiting on the sidelines. All of us, all the YouTubers, all of your investors, all of your investment portfolio managers, hedge funds, brokerage accounts, everybody says the same thing. September, bad month. Well, guess what, everyone? We have been having record month, record numbers almost every day, all new all-time highs on many stocks, many sectors, and the S&P 500. Today, the S&P 500 in pre-market. Listen to me, everybody. In pre-market, and I'm going to tell you when it hit. 5:45 a.m. The S&P 500 hit 665.10, $665.10. Okay? Now, it ran down right before the market opened up. Pre-market dropped all the way down to about 661.89, and then we had a little bit of another drop down to 667.6, and then it launched and went all the way back up to 664.88, closed at 662.26, sitting at 663.50 right now. Listen, 665 for the S&P 500 in the middle of September. It's not even the middle. September's almost gone. It's September 18th. These are pretty incredible things that are going on here. And a 25 basis point or a 25%, 0.25% rate cut didn't cause the stock market, the S&P 500, to drive and run up like this. This has been an incredible market. Well, I'm going to tell you what led the market to a new all-time high with the S&P 500 today. But let's first just take a look real quick here. The S&P 500 closed today at 0.48%, the Dow Jones at 0.57%, the Nasdaq's down 0.33%, but a stellar day. And you can see here all the green in the sectors, a little bit of red here and there, but obviously there's major solid dark green going on all across the different markets that we have. And I hope that you had an awesome, successful trading day. Whether you're a day trader, whether you're a swing trader, whether you're just an investor, long term, an options trader, right? Which I'm learning about. And I'm going to share about my NVIDIA calls that I bought last night before the market closed. It doesn't matter what you are. Today was a green day, and I hope that you made good money. So there were several things, several factors in the news today that drove the market up. Okay. And I'm going to first start with Intel and NVIDIA. Now, you know that last night, if you watched my video yesterday, I shared with you that as I am being coached and trained on how to be an options trader by some other gentlemen that are very good traders, investors, do a lot of options. Basically, last night they said to me, there is an opportunity for NVIDIA where most calls for NVIDIA were roughly like, $3, $4, $5 per share. And when you buy a call or a put and it's say $5 a share, well, you're paying $5 a share times 100. It's 100 shares per contract. So you buy a $5 contract, it's really $500. So if you buy 10 $5 contracts, then it's 500 times 10. And that's a lot of money, right? I mean, that's not money that everybody has. Well, this call for NVIDIA yesterday, the cost per share for the call was about 31 or 32 cents. And I set a buy order at 30 cents, and the guys laughed at me and they were like, oh, yeah, right. You're probably not going to get filled on that. Don't be greedy. It's only 1 penny per share. Well, I put it at 30 anyway, just to see if we get filled, because I didn't really honestly care about it anyway, because that's not my thing, right? I'm not an options trader. I'm a retail day trader. Well, it filled immediately. It filled. So those 10 contracts at 30 cents per share cost me $300. Well, remember, in some of my videos, I always talk to you about the risk versus the reward, right? So is the risk of losing $300 worth the reward of doubling that, tripling that, or 10 times that? Absolutely, 100%, right? I can lose $300 for the chance to, have an increase and go to 600, 900, 1,000, 9,000, whatever it would be. So I bought these NVIDIA 10 contracts, $300, and I went to bed. Well, I woke up this morning and I jumped onto my account at 5:30 in the morning. I got up, started getting ready for my normal day, and I jumped on my account, started looking at it. Nvidia was at about $168 a share and was already at $174 a share. So I knew right away that when the bell rang at 9:30, that those options were going to be from here to here because the stock was already running up. Well, long story short, when the bell rang, I was watching, on my Webull account on my phone. You can hit the little dollar sign in the briefcase, like a cash register, and it shows you how much money, what are you down versus what are you up. Well, so I hit on it. It showed I was down, I don't know, like 50 something bucks from the day before when it closed. And I was just, waiting and watching to see what was going to happen. Well, the 9:30 bell rang and boom, it launched. It went to 600, 700, 800, 900. And I was like, what? So I immediately sold out the 3 calls. I took 3 of those contracts and sold them to recoup the $300 that I spent on those calls. So now the rest was gravy, right? Well, what happened? As soon as I sold them, I waited a couple minutes. Well, then NVIDIA started to come back down. And because it came back down, it was dropping in value. And I was down to like $90, right? I went from basically still like 600 or 700 up to like $90. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do I sell out the rest of these 7 contracts? Do I get out of them? What do I do? And I was kind of asking some questions, hey guys, what do I do with this? And some people said, yeah, you should have sold it at the bell ring because it was all up. You should have sold out. Okay, learning lesson. Well, now I recovered my money I already spent on it, so now this was all profit. So I waited, and another guy said, I haven't gotten out of it yet. I haven't touched any of it. I'm waiting because at this drop, there's going to be a bounce. This is a sell off. People are selling off like you would have to sold off at the bell. Just wait, let's see what happens. Well, sure enough, I bought those shares at 30 cents per share. I sold out at a dollar 9 per share, and I made like $790 on top of the 300 I had already pulled out of. So literally, I made like $1,100 today with a $790 profit. So that was NVIDIA for me. That was my play. But Intel and NVIDIA, it was announced that NVIDIA basically made a $5 billion investment into Intel, buying Intel's common stock at about 23.28 cents per share. And the goal was basically this strategic partnership where they're going to co-develop custom chips for data centers and for PCs. And I'm thinking APLD, right? They're custom developing chips for data centers. Okay, Applied Digital, come on, come on, come on. Where are you? Let's because NVIDIA is a huge shareholder. I think they have like over, man, I want to say they have over $5 million in shares in APLD. So anyway, now I'm thinking APLD. I love APLD. Josh loves APLD. But the goal is this strategic partnership where they're going to develop these chips for data centers and PCs, which is going to combine the Intel's 86 CPUs with the NVIDIA's GPU AI infrastructure. This is huge news. Huge news. So now, while I'm watching my calls in NVIDIA, I'm not paying any attention to what's going on to Intel. And if you go to, and we're going to look at Intel, we'll do it in a minute. We're going to look at Intel a little bit closer because I want to share a little bit with you about that. But in the response to this, partnership, Intel stock soared up 23 to 24%. 23 to 24% in one day. In basically this morning, it's the best single day that Intel has had gains since the 1980s. And the thing about Intel is, Intel, some of the folks that I traded with say, like, I remember trading Intel at 70, 80, $90. Okay. And then they had some splits, they had some, different things go on. Intel has been undervalued for a long time. It's been in this like $20 range. And now, not anymore. Now Intel is basically up over $30 a share. Matter of fact, it made a jump all the way to $38.27 per share. And we're going to look at the chart together a little bit, but that is huge news for both Intel and NVIDIA. And thank you, NVIDIA, for those calls this morning. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me with those calls. The S&P 500, well, the S&P 500 new all-time high. It rose 0.5% today. Okay, why do you think the S&P 500 rose 0.5% today? So because of Nvidia and Intel and all of the positivity in the market with all these runs, it just continued to drive it up. I had an amazing record day today. I shared in my last video, I'm up 33% in my account, meaning I put money in a bank account. In a year I earned 4%. All right, I'm not putting everything, all my eggs in the bank accounts anymore. Yes, I have retirement accounts and things that are protected, but I'm taking a bulk of my money now that I'm earning and putting it into my stock brokerage account because I'm showing plus 33% annual return on that investment. You can't make that in a bank. But you also have to be safe. You have to know your risk tolerance. You have to know how to trade. You got to learn how to trade, everybody. Candlestick patterns, okay? Support and resistance levels, ceiling and floor, where they're at. You have got to educate yourself and understand how much you're willing to lose, what you're willing to get in and out of in order to be a successful trader. And if you're just starting out, I'm just going to tell you up front, you're going to lose money up front. Here's one I haven't talked about in a while, and we're going to go look at the charts. But there is some fresh news for Amprius Technologies, AMPX. If you didn't know this yet, Amprius secured a $35 million purchase order from a leading UAS unmanned aerial systems manufacturer for its SI core battery cells. Okay, that builds on a previous $15 million order earlier this year. And when we look at the charts, you're going to see why AMPX rocketed today. And I hope that some of you are in it. I've been talking about it for a long time and been saying this is the future of battery technology. There'll be some competitors out there, but right now they are the corner of the market and they're going to continue to excel and continue to run. And you've got to really understand those support and resistance levels on it so you can trade it right or get in it and have it be a long term. It's going to be a home run. It's going to be a win. None of this is financial advice, but I'm in it and I'm going to continue to be in it. And I'm also going to continue to trade it. BBAI, where's my BBAI army? All right, now there wasn't any major news today that jumped out, but there were a few little bits and things to share with you. It's trending on the AI circles among retail day traders. Some of the recent analysis and the media mentions whether its valuation is justifiable given its losses, right? So they're looking at profitability. They're looking at, how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, the government contracts, all these things. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing, as far as I'm concerned, nothing but positivity for BBI right now, for Big Bear AI. All right, I've talked a lot about CRML. I'm going to show you the charts on that one. But CRML is also really running very nicely. Remember, we're waiting to exit the consolidation of the handle part of a cup and handle pattern. And it's already showing some uptrend. So once we get out of this consolidation with a little bit of this uptrend on the handle, boom, we think it's going to rocket. So waiting for that to happen too. All right, let's jump into a couple charts. The first one I wanted to go over with you really is BBAI because I know I've got my BBAI army in here. So we're going to go to the 1 hour chart and then I'm going to kind of pull it down a little bit because listen, all of my support and resistance levels are here. You can see right now that $6.43 is the 5-day range, 30-minute ceiling. That's a high for today. So over the past 5 days, we're at a high of $6.43, the low of $4.96. And we don't want to get back to a low of $4.96, but you have to understand over the last 5 days, just to show this positive upward trend and momentum, we literally went from $4.65, okay, about 7 days ago, 7 market days, to where we are now at $6.43, and we cracked $7. And the potential upswing for this is going to be heading towards $7. Now, there's some key levels I want to make sure you're all aware of. $6.43 now sort of becomes a resistance level because of the today's high, but that's not what we're shooting for. We're shooting to break back through either tonight or tomorrow. This 643, go past it, 690 is our next challenging resistance level, and we need to break through 690. If we can break through 690 and we can hold above 690, we're going to 737. Same with 737 to 797. The goal for us right now is we want to see us get over $6.90. If we can get over $6.90, this is going to keep moving. Now, the bottom end to this is that we have $6.15 as a support level. We don't want to go back towards the $6.15 level. If we go back down towards $6.15, then that next level for us is $5.29. And we don't want to see that. And the other thing I want you guys, the other thing I want you all to pay attention to, and I'm going to the 15-minute, is what you really need to understand. This green line is my 20-day moving average. Remember, I told you that if you want to play this trick, you need to take the moving averages, make your 20-day moving average and your 200-day moving average. This blue line is the S&P 500 comparison, but you want to see this play as a support and resistance level. And if you can see right now that it played, much of the day as a support level, it dropped down and played as a resistance level, back to support, and it's now a resistance level, but in the aftermarket and just hit another green candle, it is a support level. So as long as we're kind of living here, we're good. The uptrend is really nice. And if you look at the daily, I mean, like, man, just look at this, right? Look at what's going on here. Let me turn this off real quick for you. Let me get my technicals off because technical indicators get in the way. But you can see, look, just really the last 3, 4, starting here, we'll say 4 trading days has been solid up. Take a look at BBAI. If you're not in it yet, there's some great opportunity here for you, and we think it's going to continue to move in this upward direction. AMPX, let's just look at it really quick because I wanted to show you some of the levels. Of course, these are mine. These are my opinions. You can chart it yourself, but check this out, okay? Look at this rocket launch the last really 15, 20 days, just continuing on this uptrend, right? You could say from here, 636, a little bit of a pullback, continued up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 days. 21 days in a 21-day period. It's up to $11.55 in the post market. So AMPX, here are the levels that I have. It's busted through every single level I had set on this. 848, 966, 1063. Now it's sitting at this 1147, which it broke through in the post market. So if it can get above and stay above this 1154, because it's at 1155, 1147 was the last line, then the next thing it's going to is $13. And let me look real quick here, because $13, and then from $13, your next level is, guess what, everyone? $26.01. And the all-time high for AMPX is $32.50. That was when it IPO'd. But from a $13 to $26.01, there's not a whole lot of resistance that could hold this thing back. So get ready, everyone. AMPX, take a look at it. And the last one on here, let's take a look real quick just for the fun. Intel, and my keyboard died, so I've got to put my arm up there to get that going. $30.54, 55 cents right now in this aftermarket. Okay, look at this jump this morning with the news when it wasn't even when market open. It was in the pre-market when they announced it. You're talking 7:15 in the morning. This candle right here opened up at, let's see where we're at bottom. $25.22 and went to $33.42. Man, that's like $8. Could you imagine being in this and say you had 100 shares, $8 a share, right? $800 right there. Say you had 1,000 shares. Man, incredible result for Intel. Love to see this. Like I said, undervalued. Glad to see that's back up here in the 30s. But now we got to wait and see what happens, right? We got to wait and see what Friday brings. I know a lot of people were talking about buying puts for Intel, longer dated, because it's going to come back down. It's going to retest and come back down. I don't know. Let's wait and see what happens. But right now, sitting pretty well. SoFi's at 28.11, 28.16 right now. Amazing run up today. I'm just going to pick out a bunch of them from the September list, just to share a few things. Tesla came down, pulled back pretty hard. Palantir was nothing but up today. Very nice. We talked about NVIDIA. AMD is down hard. It came down pretty hard here in the pre-market, with Basically, the NVIDIA Intel news is what caused AMD to come down. But um, you could have traded AMD or AMDL. Thank you for the Discord group. They are the ones that called it out. I think it was Shaft, that called out this morning that AMD was on this drop. A lot of people were able to get in and ride this back up. And why wouldn't you? Because you knew it was going to come back up. And so, great opportunity to make some money. 149.57 all the way up here to the close of 157.92. Man, pretty awesome. It's another $8, trend. Robinhood had a nice run up today, came back down to where it started. BMNR, now it's played very well over the last few days, pulled back a little bit today. Keep an eye on it. HIMS, HIMS, look at this. Look at this thing, man. HIMS. That is incredible. Rocket Labs down some more. I'm very happy. $47. I'm kind of waiting for this to level off so I can buy back in. SMCI, nice run up today. IREN, nothing but down. But if you want to get into that and let it come back up, because it's been having some really nice movement, but you kind of had to know that it had to answer back yesterday's incredible run, which it did. It did pull back a little bit. Come on, chart. Rock RKT dropped kind of hard in the market, but it returned back up. Good chance to make some money right there. APLD, listen, $20.01 today. Again, $20.67 in the pre-market, dropped down 1957. Could have rode it all the way back up here to $20.48. Nice run for APLD. I love APLD, but it scares me a little bit because it's so high. And a lot of people are talking about buying puts on APLD. Again, longer dated, 2-3 months out, because they think that it's going to run back down a little bit and retest, and we'll see. And ONDS. A lot of people thought ONDS was dead in the water. Well, I'm here to tell you, looking at this chart, it's not dead in the water. It woke back up. 2 solid days, starting in mid-afternoon, ran up pre-market. Yes, had its dip in the morning, continued up. So what do I expect for this one? It's going to run across through at 8 p.m. It shuts off 4:30 a.m. It's probably going to start its run down, 9:30 drop, and then do its work back up again. Don't quote me, not financial advice. That's my opinion. And tomorrow is Friday. So you know that everyone has to be cautious on Friday. All right, amazing market day. So happy to have you here. If this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and that way you are notified every time I upload a new video. We're going to continue to show you and talk about the best day trade stocks. Here's the list one more time. Pause, take a screenshot, take a picture. These are the ones you want to look at every day, make some decisions on, whether you're getting in. Anyway, that's all I've got. Looking forward to see what happens when we close the market at 8 p.m. tonight. Run through the 24-hour market for some of these other stocks. You know, I love the 4:30 bell to see what we're doing pre-market, and then 9:30 when that actual bell hits. Love to see some of that gap down. When I see that gap down, I know it's time to buy and let it ride back up. Have an awesome night. See you tomorrow. Josh out. Peace.